So some of you are actually very successful Amazon sellers already. Some of you don't even know how to spell Amazon. And some of you are in between. But my hope is today is, if you do learn some stuff about Amazon, which I think is important because Amazon has kind of taken over the world, wouldn't you agree? Like 25% of all the money spent online is run through Amazon. Amazon is essentially a monopoly in several different categories. And so no matter what business you're in, you are competing with Amazon. Just flat out. Like Mark, Tim, and I, we worked together on the Zig Ziglar project, wrote a webinar for that, pitched it, and the number one objection we had was, why don't I just buy the product off of Amazon? It had nothing to do with Amazon. It was an information business. And so many of you are in businesses now where people want to take the least path of resistance to try something out. They don't want to dive in head first. They want to dip their toe into the water. Does that make sense? And so Amazon is screwing up all these businesses. Amazon is the number one digital advertiser in the whole wide world by a factor of 3 to 1. So that for every $1 Walmart spends, they spend about $10 million a month on online ads. Amazon spends $30 million a month in online ads. So when you guys complain about prices on Facebook going up, thank Amazon. They are increasing the price of all advertising online. So on one hand, if you learn this stuff and figure out Amazon, that's great. That's not why you're here today. Why are you here today? You're here today because I am going to, more than anything, I have sold Amazon stuff online. It is like 50% of all the money I've made online. So when we say, hey, we sold 100 million on webinars, 50 million of that was with Amazon. You take that away and I'm only the $50 million webinar. You can be really good at pitching, but it's the opportunity and it's the offer that also matters. And that typically matters more than the pitch itself. So that's a lesson there. But if you're not ready with a sharp axe when it comes time to chop the tree down, guess what happens? You come home with calluses on your hands. Okay? So here's what I noticed to be true. And a big problem we ran into in the business, and a lot of you, I think, have run into this if you're information product sellers. So here sells like digital courses, software training program. Go ahead and raise it up. That's most of you in the room here, right? Who here is like a physical product seller? Pretty much, mainly. Okay, cool. Did I miss anybody? Is there a category I missed? Services, right? Yep. 6th Division, awesome company. Josh, are you part of that too, or?
I'm with Review Caper. We have a SaaS.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Cool. So what we discovered in the info product business, or the software business for the most part, when we would sell information or software, is essentially the same, or even coaching programs, group coaching programs, is the model was really simple. We would say, hey, you got an email list. I got a product and a pitch. Why don't you mail your people? They'll go through my funnel, whatever it is, webinar funnel, product launch funnel, right? And then when it's done, we'll split the money. And God, that was a great model for a while. Now it sucks. It sucks. It is hard. It is a diminishing return of a response based on there's less affiliates that you can work with. Their lists are less responsive. And you're working harder for less pay. And it's a model that is declining. So ideally, you skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is at. But this is kind of like skating away from the puck. You already know where it's at. You don't know where it's going, but you're skating in the opposite direction. In most cases, if you're still working the affiliate model. Now, here's one of the big reasons why, because if we wanted to know why this is, what are some of the reasons that you think that this is? Craig?
Email engagement.
Email engagement, yeah, and we talked about this because we were down in the office. That was awesome, by the way. And so that is truly, absolutely correct. People are using their email less and less. And guess who is doing more and more email marketing? Everybody, right? So last year, if you were like a single guy and there was 10 cute girls at the bar and there was only 20 other guys, you might have had a chance. This year, there's only 2 cute girls at the bar and there's 70 guys. That's email marketing. So that's one of the problems. What's another problem? I think, Chaz, you had your hand up? Numbness. They're used to it, right? I mean, one of the best parts about marketing is when customers don't know what you're doing to them. It is, right? So product launch formula was fantastic because it's like, why are these people giving away all this good information? This is really cool. I love these guys. I wish I could spend money with them, but I can't. And then you say, oh, I guess you can now. And that was a sneak up approach. And that worked incredibly well until every market got sophisticated. Webinars are the same problem that we're running into right now is, well, you're going to give me free information, but then you're going to pitch me. do I want to sit through this free steak dinner to get pitched the timeshare, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Depends on how desperate you are. So that's the challenge, is marketing has become predictive and email marketing has become extremely predictive. Think of how we consume emails on our phones these days. People act differently on their phone than they did when it was on a desktop. But I'll tell you, the number one biggest reason why email, or why this model, the traditional marketing models that we have failed, is because of Facebook. Straight up. So in the last 3 years, time on a Facebook property, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, has doubled. So 30 more minutes per day per average internet user is now spent on Facebook. So where is it not spent? Anywhere else. Not just email, but anywhere else. And that's a problem or an opportunity. Depends on how you want to look at it, right? So that's, okay, great. We got Facebook. And so who is the two biggest advertisers online when it comes to where we can spend money to advertise to be in front of our customers? Google's number one. Facebook is number two. Okay, between the two of them, they own 76% of the ad spend market online. Amazon, by the way, is creeping up to third because they sell those sponsored pay-per-click ads. 8% of now all the people that find a product page come from an ad online on Amazon. I just learned that this morning. So, but here's the problem when you have a duopoly, which is Facebook and which is Google. Now, first of all, Google sucks when it comes to advertising. Why do they suck? Because they don't like us, they don't want us to succeed, they won't approve us, they'll shut us down the most. I mean, we complain all day long about Facebook. Well, Facebook says you can't use the word you in your marketing anymore because that's calling out a user, and we don't want that. And we complain about Facebook because like Cambridge Analytica comes out, or the housing discrimination, where people are now advertising based on housing and violating these acts, and then you get Zuckerberg or Sandberg up there on stage, and they don't know how to even form a coherent sentence because they built a company based on engineers and not entrepreneurs, right? So we can complain all we want about Facebook, but here's what I like about Facebook. You could put the spammiest landing page up there and you probably can get it run. Google says, this is not a good user experience if you send them to a page that says, you're about to discover the 3 secrets of blah, 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 just give me your email address and I'll let you have them. Google says, we don't like that. Why? You know what they call that page? You know what Google officially calls that page? In when they talk about best practices in advertising in their playbook. Does anybody remember what that is?
Bait and switch page?
No, it's not a bait and switch page, but it's really funny what they call the page. I can't remember specifically offhand, but it shows you how they feel about these things. They're basically doorway pages. They don't like doorway pages. They say give the user information first, and then allow them to decide if they want to continue on. And then you can go to Facebook and you can just write a headline. Free money on the other page, email address, boom. Some of you will get that approved, some of you will not get that approved, right? But some of you will get that approved. That's what's really important about this. So here's the challenge. Facebook has allowed us to micro-target, not on a keyword level. So like if I go to Google and search for something, who knows what my intention is? But Facebook is profiling you, and they know you better than you know you. So now we can target based on behaviorals, psychographics, demographics, and consumption patterns, and all this kind of stuff. And it's crazy, but here's what's great about this. At the same time, it's super easy, isn't it? Maybe. Easy is a relative term. In one sense, though, we can dial it down, and we can hunt in 5,000 different forests at the same time. We can fish in 10,000 different ponds at the same time. What happens when it becomes so much easier for all of us to reach people and try to sell them something? What happens? What's that, James?
It's crowded.
It's crowded. What happens when it gets crowded? It's more expensive, right? Actually, it cuts you twice. Now you get half the attention, but you got to pay twice as much for it. You're like, gee, Jason, what a great motivational seminar. What do I do when this is up? So here's the challenge. Most of us have become addicted to quick, easy, fast money. So we do a promotion, we make a pile of cash, we buy a couple Ferraris, we post it on Instagram, and then we say, well, gee, we got to make some more money or we're going to go broke. Repeat the cycle over and over again. The challenge with that is You then go and build a campaign to market your company or your product or whatever, and you spend like 50 hours building this really slick upsell, downsell. When this person does this, we'll pixel them here, we'll drop this there. You roll it out in the first week, it makes like $60. But you spent $2,000 to make $60. So you worked 80 hours to make negative $1,400. And you're like, wow, that sucks. I'm just going to go back and take the quick dopamine hit. Let's do a promotion. Let's make some money. Let's do a promotion, make some money. And that's okay if you're getting started. If you've never made $1 in your life, if you made $50,000 a year, do that. Because you can get to 100, you can get to 200, you can get to 300. I mean, we got to $15 million a year doing that model. Not enough is what I discovered. Scalable, reliable, predictable revenue. And that's what Facebook allows us to do, but it's 15 times harder to get started. And it's 50 times harder to rally everybody around it to follow that process. But once it's done, you have a competitive advantage that will ultimately be way more valuable, and it's more duplicatable, because it's all about scale for me today. And if scale isn't the number one priority in your business, then you are not the boss of your business. Somebody else should be running the company, and you should be the employee, or you should be in the leadership team. But scale, scale, scale. How do we do something that can replicate over and over again? And that's the whole concept of today.